Hi, this is Mo, and in this video, we're going to talk about something interesting. It's the nexus or the Venn diagram of two things. One is the stuff that we teach around business development, a holistic business development process. And the other piece is things that our clients rarely do before we meet them. So this is interesting because it's the middle, it's the intersection of things that we know pretty well that few people are doing. And here's the topic. It's measuring things that you can control. And I want to tell this story through something I learned as I measured some stuff that was in my control. One of our clients was measuring asks for the advance. It's something we teach in Grow Big, which is, are you asking for the next step proactively in a way that's helpful for the client? Sort of a, would it be helpful if we blank message, an ask that you can ask the client on a phone call, in person, over email, wherever, to ask for the next step in the process. We find that it can speed things up. One thing I had never thought about doing before a client brought it up to us was actually measuring that. It's a little subjective, but it's very important. I thought, I think I'll measure it. I'll give it a whirl. I'm sort of our test case number one. We drink our own champagne, and I wanted to see if it really worked. Well, boy, it did. Here are my results for the first several weeks I did it. The first week I decided to do this was on a Friday, so I looked backwards and tried to estimate that week how many times did I ask for the next step in the process. And I think it was 6. I'm really sure. I went back and thought to my emails and phone calls, meetings, what did I get? I think it was 6. That week after I got 6, I got 26. I couldn't believe it. I focused on it and I found new ways of asking for the advance I'd never thought of. I was even mad at myself on several calls. After I hung up the phone, I thought I could have asked for advance. I didn't get a check mark. I didn't get to count that number. Then I had to work harder the next time to make sure I remembered. Well, the week after the 26, I wanted to beat my record. I had a little time. I got to 27. It's amazing what a metric can do to drive behavior. The week after that, not so good. I got 14. After that, 31, an all-time high. After that, 20. The week after that, 29. And that led me to a week when everything changed. The perfect storm happened. We had something, an asset that we could send to a client that was really good. We had an article published in a really high-profile website. And I had a Wednesday that opened up because I had a client event that had to get canceled due to things that they had internally. So here I had this full day. I had an asset to send, and I busted it. The whole day I worked on sending it out to people, custom crafting an email, making it personalized, finding a way to tie the article to things that they were dealing with. And I always at the end of every email would ask for the next step. I made phone calls. I went deeper into our prospect list than I'd gone for a while. And I finished that Wednesday night with 31. I had tied my all-time record. I instant messaged our COO. She's sort of my accountability partner, if you will. I thought she'd give me a high five over our instant messaging platform. I thought she'd be excited, and she wasn't. She replied back with one sentence. Why don't you go for 50? I was angry. I went in that night. I talked to my wife about it. Can you believe she said that? Does she understand how much work this is? How much time I spend into every single phone call and email and every ask? And after about 2 hours of complaining, I realized I can get to 50. Yeah, I'm busy the rest of this week, but I'm going to go for it. If nothing else, I'm going to show her I can do it and show myself I can do it. And I started thinking of strategic partners I could reach out to, other prospects I hadn't talked to in a while. What was a meaningful, quick way I could just check in on somebody? It didn't always have to be about that article. I ended up Friday afternoon falling across the finish line at about 5 or 6 o'clock, and I got 51. There was something about getting one more than what the new goal was, but I got to 51. Well, what this taught me is, number one, that measurement worked. A couple months later, our pipeline had more than doubled because of this one behavior I could change myself. So the lagging indicator, if you will, pipeline, was perfectly correlated to the leading indicator, asking for the next step in the pipeline process. But the other thing I learned is that when you measure something, it drives focus. It galvanizes effort. It gets you excited. Looking back that first week, I had 6. I never would have thought the next week I could get 26. After 26, I never would have thought I would have got 50. And the point of it is, when you start measuring, it creates a benchmark, and then interesting things happen with you that you want to exceed whatever your prior results were. It's very motivational. So here's what I'd like you to leave with and think about. Is there some kind of behavior, something you can control, something you can measure, that you can track on a Post-it note, you can put in a spreadsheet, you can tell an accountability partner about? Is there something you can measure that you think would correlate to your longer term success, but is 100% in your control, or nearly, that you can start driving focus around? Measure it. See what you come up with. You probably won't know what the number is, but once you get a number the first week, it drives your effort for future weeks. Let me know if that helps. I'd love to hear from you. Well, like all our videos, we hope that this idea helps you help your clients succeed.